Tokyo Game Show has been a blessing for those who have been eagerly waiting for the 7 Deadly Sins origin. We have got a lot of information, so let's dive in. First off, the most important information regarding the game. The release of the game is scheduled for January 28, 2026. As for the beta test, it will take place starting from October 30, ending on November 5th. Before we continue with the gameplay details, let's go over the information given by trailers and previews. There will be a gameplay mechanic where you will be able to turn monsters into tiny pets. We have also seen a couple of frames featuring Derriere fighting against Poisonous Toad Molbog, confirming her playability. PvP has also been revealed, where you will be playing a little arena shooter as your favorite characters turn chibi. The arena itself can hold up to 20 people with 2 teams featuring 10 people in each of them. We got more gameplay for Gila and the new dungeon, but more about that later. Albion boss fight has also been fully revealed and it is multiplayer compatible, and I will talk about it more also in the later part of the video. We also see a preview of a dragon boss fight taking place in Fort Solgers. We also got a teaser of a boss fight featuring Meliodas in his berserk state. We also have our first look at the character model of Dreyfus. However, if he is playable is not confirmed. It also seems like you are able to place certain items on the map. We also finally got the confirmation that the game will feature 5-player co-op. We also have a short preview featuring all the scenes, including Escanor and their secret treasures. Now, with previews and trailers out of the way, let's continue with everything else shown during the TGS. And of course, let's begin with the story mode. Players were able to experience about 25 minutes of story mode gameplay, including this little minigame where you're falling into a cave and need to avoid obstacles to reach the final destination. In the cave, you will have 2 main fights, one being against the clones of Tristan and Tiore, and other being against the boss called the Guardian Golem. After returning to the surface, you will meet up with Hawk, and after a couple of cutscenes, you will be awarded with a new character, that being a free copy of an SSR character, Tiore. Once you obtain Tiore, you will continue with the story. You will have the ability to spawn a crafting bench, where you will have to make a potion to heal Hawk. Honestly, it's kinda crazy that you actually can have a portable crafting bench, and you don't actually need to go to certain locations to craft the necessary items like potions. Once you are done helping Hawk out, you will need to find a certain statue. You can say that it's something similar to the Statue of Seven present in Genshin Impact. It's a simple teleporter that also heals you and unlocks a part of the map. Once you are done with that, you will be able to perform your first ever multi-summon. It will be free and will give you a free copy of an SSR Slater. I will let you guys watch the full summon animation without my commentary. Please enjoy. Here's the first look at the map, and as you can see, the top half of it is currently unavailable in this demo. Here's the render of the full map, and as you can see, there are 4 new bosses who previously were not available during G-Star 2023 demonstration version. Here's your first look at the scenery of the Fairy King's Forest. It looks absolutely gorgeous, and look just how vast and beautiful it really is. Now let's continue the breakdown and go over the mounts. We have a total of 3 mounts, 1 for the ground transportation, 1 for flight, and a glider that simply just glides down or follows the circles that you can find in the world. Those circles will accelerate the glider and help you travel even faster. As for the 4th one, it's simply just a pet and not a mount. Seems like there will be a huge variety of mounts and pets that we will be able to acquire. Now let's go over character customization and upgrades. This is the main character menu, and on the right side you can see the name of the character, their step of evolution, their stats and their abilities. On the top you can see the character navigation, and on the left you can see the buttons for navigating the menu, those being basic info, weapons, armor or gear, mastery and costumes. In weapons menu you can see that each character has 3 slots for weapons, and each slot has a dedicated elemental typing. As for on the right side, you can see the name and level as well as the description of the weapon. You can also see that the currently equipped weapon has a little icon with the letter E on top of it. And also on the right side of the character you can see the skills that the weapon provides. Next you have gear, and it's quite similar to the G-Star version that we have seen in 2023. Only change is the layout. We still have 4 main equipment and 3 secondary equipment slots. Next we have mastery, and it seems to be dependent on each individual weapon typing. There will be 4 levels of mastery, and seems like you will need a special item called Supreme Mastery EXP or similar items. Name of those, unfortunately, I am not aware of because they have not been revealed yet, but still, we have seen the Supreme Mastery EXP item before, and seems like it's what we will be using to upgrade our weapon mastery levels. And last thing in this menu is skins. Do you guys really need me to explain what skins do? Of course not. Here's what the character selection menu looks like. You can see the characters, the weapons they have equipped, the total power level and total HP of the team. And this is how the menu will look like when you click on the character to try to change them or change their weapons. This is what the pause menu will look like, and you guys probably can already tell by the icons and the names of them what each one will do, so I will not go in depth about them. But let's go over the currency that we see on top. On the top right side you can see the diamonds that are the premium currency in the game. Left to it you can see the gold that is used for basically everything in the game, upgrades, purchasing items in the world, character evolution using EXP, and so much more. You guys already know everything about that from every other game that you have ever played. On the left side from the gold you can see the keys. Keys are basically your equivalent of wave plates from Wuthering Waves. You can use them after defeating certain bosses or clearing a dungeon to acquire the rewards that said dungeon or a boss provides. Now let's continue with the gacha system and the pricing. You will need 3000 diamonds to perform a temple. Here's a little chart I made regarding monetization and the pricing of pools, so you can decide for yourself if it's worth buying certain packs or not. Now, as far as the content is concerned, they actually showed quite a lot of things. We already mentioned PvP, so let's not go over it. Let's start with the bosses that they have showcased. First boss that they showcased is the Poisonous Toad Molbog. He is a world boss that you can find in the Fairy Forest. He's extremely agile and can hit you with extremely powerful spinning attacks. However, after performing them, he has a slight cooldown where you will be able to attack him. He also has ranged attacks that are quite easy to avoid and during them he is also in a cooldown state. Additionally, he has attacks that can be interrupted with the character switch mechanic. All in all, although dangerous, he is quite simple to deal with, and you can simply just maintain range or attack him up close when he's in a cooldown state. Next boss was the Red Demon that you can find in the Dragon's Grave. You will need to find this place and this statue, and after interacting with it, he will fall from the sky. As morbidly obese as he is quite agile, able to leap at you with a powerful jump and attack you like that. He can also attack you at weird angles. If you are standing diagonally from him, he will throw a fireball. If you are standing parallel to his shoulders, he will summon laser beams from his hands. He can also summon fire from the ground repetitively, making it difficult to navigate against him. However, some of his attacks can also be interrupted with the character switch mechanic, making it slightly easier to deal with him. Next is the Grey Demon, and to summon him, you will need to find and attack this wizard. Killing him is unnecessary. After that, the Grey Demon will simply fly into this scene and attack you. Grey Demon has a great variety of abilities, making himself dangerous both at close range and at a distance. He can use his claws to deal devastating combinations up close and use laser beams to deal damage at a distance. Additionally, he is able to fly, which will make him invulnerable to close-range attacks. You will need to shoot him down. In the newest build of the game, his flying mechanic is more forgiving. During the G-Star 2023, when he was flying, he would do that for quite some time. Now it seems like he's more likely to go down sooner. You need to remember, however, that if you do in fact attack him enough time while he's flying, you will be able to drop him down and stun him briefly. Last one is a 3-phase boss fight against Albion. His very first move will always be him shooting projectiles from his back, following with an earthquake that will stun you briefly so he can grab you and throw you on the ground. It will always happen, and the earthquake is unavoidable, unless you're able to break his shield and drop him on his ass, which you very likely won't be able to do, at least in the early game. Albion is a quite difficult challenge to overcome. He can stomp you, he can punch you, he can throw you, and he throws a lot of projectiles, as well as being able to generate earthquakes that deal damage over time. Once you are able to break his shield, you will need to climb him and reach his core, and you will need to deal as much damage as possible until he recovers. Once enough damage is dealt, there will be a cutscene playing that will indicate the beginning of the second phase of this fight. In the second phase, he is no longer aggravated against you, and you will have time to heal. You will need to approach special flowers and shoot his core 3 times if you are playing in the single player mode. If you are playing in the multiplayer, you will need to shoot it more times. Once you are done shooting his core, a special animation will play indicating the beginning of the third phase. The third phase is basically the same as the first one. You will simply need to fight Albion on your own without any outside help, of course excluding players if you are playing in a multiplayer mode. In the third phase, Albion is far more aggressive, more likely to punch you with combinations, more likely to stomp you, and his special abilities that cause earthquakes are also now causing you to get poisoned, and the damage over time will be dealt to you even if you are farther away from him. Additionally, there will be spikes coming up from the ground, dealing additional damage to you, so you will have to be maximally careful. Once you break his shield, he will once again fall on his ass, and you will need to attack his core, and after that he will simply just die. This boss fight was definitely a highlight for the TGS demonstration version, at least for me. I would really love to fight him as soon as the beta begins and test out just how difficult he really is. As the last piece of content, we have dungeons. In the dungeon, you will have to overcome obstacles and defeat enemies to finally advance and fight against bosses that will drop the special rewards provided by the dungeon. There will be a lot of traps, some of them can even one-shot you. Now, thankfully, you will simply just respawn, unless you are fighting the final boss. There, once you die, only your teammates can continue fighting. The dungeon that they showed was focused mainly on characters that could use fire typing. You needed to light torches and burn down walls of web to advance through the dungeon. The enemies that you would have faced were mainly spiders, including the bosses. There were 2 mini-bosses that were separated on the map, and finally, after defeating the second one and advancing through map further, you would have met the final boss. Now the boss itself, even while being on a team, is quite difficult to deal with. It's large, covers a lot of area quickly, and has ranged attacks as well. Additionally, other spiders will be spawning, making it even more difficult to focus on the boss. After a certain amount of time passes, the boss will stick to the ceiling and start charging up its ultimate attack that can one-shot the entire team. You will need to destroy certain spider eggshells, which, after destroying them, will shoot fire at the boss, and after destroying 3 of them, the boss will fall on the ground and be stunned for a brief period of time. You will need to do this multiple times until you finally be able to kill the boss. Now the difficult part about it is that while you are trying to destroy those shells, explosive spiders will appear and blow up next to you, dealing quite a bit of damage. So you will have to be quick, but at the same time careful, or else you will either die from the ultimate attack of the boss or from the exploding spiders. 7 Deadly Sins Origin definitely provides a way better multiplayer experience than something like Wuthering Waves or Genshin Impact. Albion boss fight and the dungeon are great ways to test out your strength and ability to cooperate with other players. Next world boss is Pan-Nachro, and we get a better look than we did during the G-Star 2023. He can shoot water from his mouth and create giant waves that will attack you from all sides, and also has a volcano on his back from which he can shoot projectiles. Luckily for you, he has a shield. You can break it, and after it's broken, he will be stunned temporarily, letting you attack him without any consequences. Now with the bosses out of the way, I think you guys will like to hear about the next feature. Multiplayer in the 7 Deadly Sins Origin works similarly to MMOs, where players are in a shared hub and not in a world of another player. So, because of that, every player can unlock chests and interact with the puzzles that they find along the way, which is great. Wuthering Waves or Genshin Impact simply does not allow such thing. The world is owned by one person, and only that person is able to interact with the stuff and get the rewards from chests. Also, the great addition was the character Gila. Using one of her ultimates, she is able to transform into her demon form, which confirms that future characters who are canonically able to transform can also have such features when the new units come out. All in all, Tokyo Game Show was absolutely incredible, giving us a lot of information regarding the game that we were curious about. Now, all we have left to do is wait a couple of weeks to see how the beta test unfolds. If you found the video useful or informative, please leave a like, subscribe, and have a wonderful day. Thank you guys for watching.